We will hear Arslan Hafiz speaking about stages of FP&A Analytics Maturity. Arslan, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Olga. So let me, first of all, as Olga introduced already, I work in AstraZeneca in the Rare Disease Business Unit as an FP&A Director for International Region. So it's a pleasure to be here to actually talk about what we can do to revive the view of the FP&A and also be ready for the future FP&A organization. So what you can see here in the chart here, you can see that the more hindsight we are looking at, on the left side you will see the value, and the right hand side you see the difficulty. The focus is, or the aim is, to shift more towards the right side, where we are going from hindsight to insight and actually foresight, or more of from descriptive to prescriptive analytics. Okay, so what we do is, the more value we want to add, we want to look more at the future. So if you see the traditional budgeting and planning, it has mainly been focused on descriptive or diagnostic analytics, etc., looking mostly on the backward looking or mostly reacting organization. However, the advanced budgeting and planning, or we can say the future looking forward, is actually more on the driver-based forecasting and planning process. So what we should be doing is, I mean, if we look at the next slide, I can talk about the cultural shift that we actually need, and we need to shift from what to why and how. So first thing I would like to say is, like, why we feel stuck into what has happened or why did that happen. One, first of all, I mean, we know that we have a huge amount of data nowadays, and because of all the tools and tools that we have available, we have a huge amount of data, and we feel stuck by actually analyzing a lot of data, and also because of our numbers, being finance professionals, we enjoy working with numbers. We enjoy working or utilizing our analytical skills that we have gained during our career. So one important thing which is important to highlight and we need to learn is that past cannot be undone. What the best thing we can do from past is actually learn from it and take some corrective or some actions that can actually improve the future that we are going to face in future. So to do that, a few things what we can do, of course, we need to make sure that we understand the real drivers of the business, rather than talking about only, okay, for example, just the revenue is gone up or the OPEX is gone down. We need to really understand the business. We need to start thinking about the real drivers behind those the revenue upside. So for example, in our organization, rather than just talking about, okay, what the variance is, like revenue is gone up or revenue is gone down, or the volume is gone up or the volume is gone down, we actually talk about the real drivers of that revenue. For example, the patient number is one of the main drivers that we are always looking at. So that's one of the most important things, that we really need to understand the business. And then once we understand the business, then we can actually start about, okay, how we can learn from it, from the past, and how we can improve the real business drivers, how we can make an impact into the drivers which actually do add value into our organization. One point here I wanted to highlight is about the 80-20 rule. Maybe what we can think about is, okay, let's thinking about, we spend about 20% of time on what has happened and why it has happened, and how we can do it is, for example, we can automate a lot of things in the analytics. We can outsource or maybe delegate. We can even eliminate some things. So so we end up spending less and less time on the things or on activity which are the least value adding activities. And then what we can do is actually focus more and more, or 80% of our remaining time, on what will happen and how we can improve it. Okay, so that of course needs focused efforts and resources, and of course real business partnering. Okay, we need to partner with the business. If we go to our next slide, I'll explain you about, I can give you a few tips about how we can be a true business partner or can collaborate more with our businesses. First of all, as I mentioned already, the most important thing is to really understand the business. We need to get out of our comfort zone where we are very comfortable with the finance. We are just happy you're talking about numbers. There is a real need and actually demand from the business for the finance business partner, finance FP&A to actually act as a business partner for the stakeholders. Once we are, and for that, of course, we need to work on the development of the relationship, understanding the business, etc. Once we have that relationship or understanding of the business, we can work with those stakeholders and define the real KPIs, like the KPIs which actually will work as the business drivers for the business world. Another important point is to focus on terminology and avoid the business jargon as much as we can, because most of the information that we are communicating are taken by the non-finance stakeholders, and it's important that we are talking in a language that these non-finance stakeholders do understand and make the most out of it. Another tip for sure is thinking about the medium of the communication that we are talking that we are delivering. For example, we are very comfortable in understanding or looking at a huge amount of data, a lot of numbers there, and like tables, etc. But many stakeholders sometimes do prefer to actually look at a mixture of the things. For example, charts, utilize charts somewhere, or tables as well. Sometimes we do have to use tables. Okay. Another point which is not mentioned here, which I would like to highlight, is we need to really understand the audience. What kind of audience we are talking to? Are we talking to a very senior management stakeholders who actually need this, like the very high level overview, or do we need to deep dive a bit more? So that's these are the few tips. Apart from the final one is the highlight the most important areas, the most important points. And please, let's keep this in mind that yes, we have a huge amount of data available to us, but we should not fall victim of the data trap. I mean, what my colleague Lawrence actually introduced me to this term, paralysis by analysis, which I really liked actually, that we have so much data and we have so much analysis we can do that actually we are not able to move forward, and we're not able to actually utilize our efforts or attention to the areas which we or maybe our stakeholders believe adds the most of the value. So yeah, I think if we keep these points in mind, for sure we are on the right step towards creating a forward-looking and a value-creating FP&A organization.